In this video, we're going to be doing a full tour of Bellingham, Washington. We're going to be exploring all the best spots. I'll show you the most popular neighborhoods, and I'm going to show you 3 of my favorite spots that even some locals don't know about. But first, my name is Tommy Mutchler, a local native born, a local realtor, and if you're considering a move, I would love to invite you to book a free home goals consultation by clicking the link in the description. All right, now here we are inside of Google Maps. Obviously, we can see Bellingham right here. Amazing city. Absolutely love it here. But if we zoom out a little bit, and we look at just Washington in general, you'll see we're literally right up here in the tippy top corner, okay? In fact, we are right next to Canada, so you're obviously really close, meaning that you can visit Canada relatively easily. Now, one thing about Bellingham that's really cool, in case you aren't aware, is it's kind of like this perfect central hub for the Pacific Northwest because it's kind of like rural enough. You're kind of away from the big city to where, like, hey, you're not paying Seattle prices for homes. You're not dealing with Seattle traffic or a lot of the big issues that people deal with Seattle, but you also get that Pacific Northwest mountain feel and vibe, and you're actually really close to Seattle, about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, depending on where you're going and the traffic that's involved. And because we're a central hub, you're also really close to Vancouver, Canada, which is basically the Seattle of Canada. If you haven't been, it's a really fun city. Would highly recommend it. Again, being this central hub, as you'll see, we're right on the bay. So being close to the water for you is important, especially when it comes to like hiking or swimming like that. We obviously have the ocean right here, but we also have several lakes that you could take advantage of and swim, hike, kayak, boat. Lake Whatcom is actually a very big lake, so you can actually do boating on that lake or sailing or anything like that. And then, of course, as we zoom out, we also have Mount Baker to the east, which, depending on which part of Baker you're going to, is about an hour to an hour and a half drive. Obviously, in the winter, we got skiing and snowboarding and all those fun things. But even in the summer times, there's some amazing hiking out here as well that you can check out. There's obviously some secret lakes, some great trails, obviously breathtaking views. Mount Baker really is amazing. And in fact, if you can find some of the secret and hidden lakes up here, they're kind of a walk, they're kind of a ways. These little lakes, they're small, right? But they are so crystal clear. The water is like perfectly blue. Like, this picture does not even do it justice at all. And it's just one of those experiences that you have to experience in person to really appreciate it for. Obviously, there's great skiing and snowboarding, and there's obviously also like mountain biking and some other amenities up here. Now, real quick, one of my favorite secret spots, if you were to come up here, I don't think a lot of people know about this place, but if you were to, let's say you're visiting Bellingham or you're coming up to visit Baker, inside a glacier here is a really amazing restaurant that I absolutely love. They barely pop up on the map here, but it's going to be the Gunner's Tex-Mex Barbecue. Really good local food. Would highly recommend it if you're on your way to Baker. Waken Bakery is also a really good local bakery in the Glacier City. And obviously they have great coffee as well. So if you're heading up to Baker or even just one of the nearby trails, in fact, I think it's right about here. There's like a kind of like a hidden trail right here. Actually, here it is, Horseshoe Bend Trailhead. This is a really fun trail that I would recommend checking out, especially if you're into hiking, okay? That's going to be another one of my favorite secret spots that I didn't actually know about for the longest time until maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago is when I first discovered this trail. And as you can see, it mostly goes along the river right here, which is the North Fork Nooksack River. Now, obviously, this is not in Bellingham. It's just to the east of Bellingham, but it's a great spot I would definitely check out. When it comes to Bellingham more specifically, obviously, it is a big city. You know, it's roughly 100,000 people, give or take, right? You know, you do have the full-blown city life. You have the coffee shops, museums, great parks like Boulevard Park, which is honestly one of my favorite parks. It's right on the water, and it even has a local's favorite, which is Woods Coffee right there on the bay. You'll see it's right there. You got to walk up to this coffee shop. Doesn't have a drive-through or anything like that, but it really is just this beautiful park area with this boardwalk, which takes you all the way to Fairhaven. So Boulevard Park, I mean, it technically is in Fairhaven. I think it's actually more like the South Hill area, but this boardwalk, which I don't actually know the full length on. Let me see if we can take a look here. It's about, I would say maybe a mile, half a mile, but you'll see it goes along here. The Woods Coffee Shop is about here. And this trail will take you all the way to downtown Fairhaven. And Fairhaven is technically Bellingham. It used to be its own city at one point, but it was eventually absorbed into Bellingham. Now, Fairhaven, more so, is going to be more of your condominiums. There are, of course, homes there. It's a very walkable area. I really like it a lot. This picture does not do it justice. Here's a better picture. They do a lot of like outdoor stuff. So in this park area, there'll be a lot of like live concerts, music. So they even do like movie nights, sometime like family friendly stuff, farmers markets, things like that. Fairhaven, though, is definitely one of my favorite places. I don't know if I'd want to live there. It seems more like a retirement area. So if you want to own like a condo up here, this would probably be a better place for you to own a condo because you do have that walkability, right? And you do have some parks and schools nearby that are really good. But for me, it's definitely a place that I like to visit more than anything. So it's a great place to just check out and visit. Again, some of my favorite restaurants in this area is going to be the Black Cat. Definitely one that I really, really like. Oven wood-fired pizza is good. Fairhaven Stone's Throw Brewery. If you like brewery, if you like beer, Bellingham as a whole, not just Fairhaven, but Bellingham as a whole has a lot of that, okay? Like there's a lot of breweries here. I don't even know how many breweries there are, but every time I go to the grocery store, it's almost exclusively local beers. Now, some other things to know about the Fairhaven area. Again, we're still inside of Bellingham, right? These are just one of the neighborhoods in Bellingham. We're also right next to the Edgemoor neighborhood. I like the Edgemoor neighborhood a lot. Let's see if I can find some better pictures of it. But it's a really nice area. This is going to be your higher end homes. In fact, homes in this area usually are closer to the $1 million+ range. You can find stuff under $1 million here, but just the location is killer. Okay, you're right on the water. Obviously, not every home's on the water, but a lot of homes have waterfront views, and it's just a really nice area. Of course, you're right next to Larrabee Park, which is, wait a second, this is Fairhaven Park. Sorry, Larrabee Park is a little bit over here. Larrabee State Park, which has a ton of amazing hiking as well. You got like the Oyster Dome and things up here. You also have Teddy Bear Cove, which is a really cool beach that's hidden away. It's kind of hard to get to if you know where to find it. It's a really fun little beach. It's kind of a steep little hike, so you got to be aware of that. But I think this is Teddy Bear. This looks like Teddy Bear right here. And to get there, what you need to do is there's going to be a little secret trailhead right around here. Okay, there's Teddy Bear Cove. But let's see, you can do a street view right here. I don't know if it's going to let me. Basically, there's like a little secret stairwell right around here, I believe. Maybe it's over here. Oh, actually, here, let's pull up the maps. Okay, we found it. So here's some parking and other ways to get in there as well. And you just kind of go down there. Again, this is Chuckanut. Chuckanut is a really cool road to drive, especially if you're just visiting or you need a good date night. It's going to be this road along here. You're basically just driving on the edge of the cliff right here over Larrabee State Park. And I cannot tell you enough that the view is just amazing. It's an absolutely beautiful view. There's so much to see, and there's just a lot to do. There's just a ton of hiking. So if you're big into hiking, Chuckanut Road has a lot to offer. There are homes for sale here. You will find homes for sale. Again, they're kind of on the cliff. Again, the beach access is not great. It does require a little bit of hiking. If you are more interested in like swimming and beach access like that, you got a lot of options here. Okay, you've got Lake Samish right here to the south. Again, we're kind of south of Bellingham. This is kind of the edge. There's kind of a big mountain range right here that you got to go through. And this is kind of before that. You do go through some mountains, but we have Lake Samish. A lot of people like to live here, so it's really more of a community tucked away, if you will. However, if you want more of a public beach, we have Lake Paddon. You can't have like gas boats on Lake Paddon, but you can do paddle boarding, lots of swimming, kayaks. It's actually a really great park. There's fishing that you can do, obviously, and there's even a golf course as well. So if you like golfing, that's another great amenity here. And then there's also a trailhead. So this right here, these lines here are all trails. So all these are trails. These are not roads. These are all trailheads. And I've walked these so many freaking times, and they're just so much fun. They're very well maintained trails. Sometimes when you get out here, you'll see some like little man-made trails, or they're all man-made, right? But like not as like maintained. But these are very well maintained. Let's see if I can find some pictures of all this stuff. So again, here's some more pictures of Lake Paddon, an absolutely beautiful lake. Let's see if I can see the trails in here. Here you go. So again, more trails. And in fact, this is actually a bad photo. There's actually a lot more beautiful photos out here with better maintained trails than this. Just so you are aware. It is an absolutely beautiful area. Definitely recommend coming to Lake Paddon. Though be warned, in the summertime, it can get pretty busy. If you want a bigger lake, especially a lake where you can actually drive boats on and stuff, that's going to be Lake Whatcom. As you can see, it is absolutely huge compared to like Lake Paddon. A lot of people like to live here. Obviously, we have our Southern Valley neighborhood, which is probably the largest HOA that I'm aware of in Whatcom County, which is the Bellingham area. It's actually just outside of Bellingham residential limits. So you have to drive around here or around here to actually get to it because there's a big mountain range right here. And this HOA, the neighborhood's really nice. It is a little bit expensive. It's very hilly. We are in a valley. Obviously, it's called Southern Valley, but you do have private lake access. There's a lot of amenities. There's restaurants, golfing, some pools. There's a lot going on. There's private security. HOA fees are a little bit on the higher side when it comes to this neighborhood. It just really depends. Do you want those amenities? Do you not? It's a really nice area. In addition to, though, there are a lot of nice homes, especially more luxury homes. Not all of them are luxury, but you'll see a lot of nicer luxury homes along the water right here and all the way around. You can actually drive all the way around here. You can't drive fully around the lake. There's a section about here that you kind of get, there's no roads or anything, so you got to like drive way around. But even just driving around from like, say here from S Bay Drive and just driving all the way around Lake Whatcom will take you probably about an hour. It's also a beautiful drive, by the way, if you're just looking for something to do. If you're looking for public beach access, your Silver Beach, Blodell is going to be more your area. Again, Silver Beach is more of a neighborhood right next to Alabama Hill and Barkley. In fact, guys, at the time of recording this video, my wife is in Blodell right now. So if you want that public beach access, it's very family friendly, very kid friendly, all sand beaches. They got this big floating dock out here that people can play on. You also got your boat launch. So if you want to drop off your boat and sail the lake, you can. You also have Whatcom Falls Park right here. So if you want to check out some cool waterfalls and just see some of the beauty that Bellingham has, this is definitely one of the spots to be. You can see some of the waterfalls right here. See more of the waterfalls. There's actually just a lot of different waterfalls in this area. And there's a massive trail system here. One thing to know about Bellingham, if you're not familiar with the area, is we're really big into trails and hiking and having those interurban city trails all connecting all the different neighborhoods. As you can see, some of this map right here, we have these different residential areas. We have our Lakeway. You're going to have your Barkley Village and Silver Lake up over here. You got your Roosevelt Park, and you have all these trail systems just kind of connecting everyone and everything, which is really cool, especially if you are more health conscious and you want to do a lot of walking. You could even walk to, say, like Hagen's, which is a grocery store, which is located like right here. Again, you'll see that trail system right here. Hagen's, if you're not familiar, it's going to be a little bit more on the expensive side. It seems to be that fancy bougie grocery store. Obviously, we have cheaper options around here, but Hagen's is kind of expensive, just so you are aware. But it's really nice, and they have a really good bakery that I do like a lot. But again, you see, we have these trail systems going through the neighborhoods that take you right to Hagen's. And then, of course, we have our Regal Cinema and things like that. And the Barkley area, just for everyone that doesn't know, it's kind of your more like industrial business area. Not industrial, that's the wrong word. It's more like a business area. So you got a lot of professionals, big banks, movie theaters, titles, companies, things like that. In this area, it's a very nice, clean area. Some great restaurants here as well. Again, just kind of zooming out, we got some other great parks like your Cornwall Park, also not to get confused with the Cornwall neighborhood. Speaking of neighborhoods, one of the most popular neighborhoods with some really great schools and great walkability is going to be the Columbia neighborhood. So right here, we're going to have that Columbia neighborhood. Very nice walkability. All the homes are generally older. You will see some new builds in this home, but it's going to be that classic older homes. A lot of them have been updated. Some of them haven't been updated. You got some really great schools. And again, you got that walkability as well. So if you like walking to coffee shops, pubs, grocery stores, Columbia is going to have that. Leonard Street, same thing. I would say Columbia is probably the most popular neighborhood. And then I'd say Leonard Street is going to be a close second. Sunnyland is nice, although you're right next to the freeway, so you kind of got that going for it. Birchwood's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Birchwood. You're going to have more apartment complexes in the Birchwood neighborhood. That's not true for all of Birchwood. There are some nice homes in this area, but you also got the technical college and things like that. Speaking of college, we didn't even talk about Western Washington University. Obviously, we have South Hill, we have Fairhaven, which we talked about, in Edgemoor. But we're also going to have that Western Washington University. So again, you're going to have a lot of university kids, especially when they're going to be partying and doing what university kids do, right? They're going to be kind of more located in kind of the C-home area. Western Washington, there's some homes over here that people rent. However, there's kind of like a line right here because on South Hill, which is a very popular neighborhood. I do like South Hill a lot. The homes here are very expensive. You have that classic Victorian style. This is actually a bad example. That house looks like it needs some work. You have a lot of like old Victorian style homes on this hill. Of course, you have new builds as well. Like you're going to have a big mix. You're going to have that classic Victorian era. You're going to have ramblers, and then you're going to have a lot of the new builds, especially the Pacific Northwest modern new builds that you're seeing these days. South Hill, though, is a great spot. I do like it a lot. And just so you know, this is kind of like, I don't know if this is correct exactly, but there's kind of like, this is a hill, right? And this is kind of the top of the hill right here. So you're separated from the school. Okay. So it's not like you see the school right here. Like all these houses here are looking out into the bay. And then this is kind of like roughly the top of the mountain, kind of. You'll have the school on the other side of that mountain, just so you are aware. Zooming out a little bit, we obviously have Bellingham International Airport, which is a international airport, obviously. And then on the other side of the freeway, because we can kind of been focusing on this southern side of Bellingham, to the north is going to be more of your Costco's, your Trader Joe's, your Walmarts. We got the Cordata area, which is a brand new, well, not brand new, but like last 10 years, a big development project where they've just been putting in tons and tons of homes. Some of the houses kind of actually remind me of like the Jetsons, like a weird futuristic style. It's kind of interesting. But then, of course, we have our Meridian Street, which takes you all the way to Linden. And of course, Canada. This is the Canadian border. We'll talk about Linden here in a second. It's a great little suburb city. But again, everything kind of on this Meridian area right here. You're going to have your Bells Fair Mall. So that's a big mall we have here with your Target, things like that. Birch Door Cafe. Oh my gosh. I totally forgot about this place. This is an amazing breakfast and lunch brunch spot. Really good food. Holy cow. This is kind of like one of those little things that's just kind of like hidden. They're not open all the time, but the food is amazing and they're always packed out and sold out. And this door that they have, this front door is heavy. But this food is really, really good. Would definitely recommend trying out the Birch Door if you've never been. Whether you live here or are coming to visit, it is a good spot to check out. But again, kind of this area is going to be more of your big box stores. You got your Walmart, you got your Costco, you got your Fred Meyers. You'll have like your Home Goods and Sportsman Warehouse and things like that. Now, again, one of the big cons with Bellingham is the medium house price is pretty expensive. Okay, like it's high. You know, we're in the 700,000s. Obviously, you can find stuff in the 500,000s, and you can even find condos and maybe some fixer-uppers in like the 400,000. But for the most part, you're going to be spending $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 for a house. Obviously, depending where you live in the Edgemoor, Fairhaven, South Hill area, this is going to be kind of your premium spots, along with anything around Lake Whatcom and the water. Obviously, those are very expensive areas. And then, of course, if you go out in the county and you're buying something with land like 5 acres, 10 acres, 20 acres, that can obviously be expensive because land's obviously expensive. That said, depending on where you live, there are a lot of pockets in Bellingham that are going to be more affordable. Again, we're talking like $600,000-$700,000. There's just going to be trade-offs, right? There's going to be trade-offs for all those things. So it's really important to know what it is you're looking for. What are your must-haves? What are your non-negotiables? Because Bellingham is kind of expensive. However, there are some more affordable cities right next to Bellingham. So for example, we got Ferndale, which is actually where I live at the moment. You can get a lot more bang for your buck here. You're really close to Bellingham, maybe 10, 15 minutes, depending on where you're trying to go. So again, we got our highway right here. You can just jump on and be in Bellingham pretty quickly. Obviously, my wife, like I was telling you at the time of recording this video, she's at Blodell right here in the Geneva area. Geneva, by the way, love Geneva, great area. And we're actually even going to church in the Geneva area right now. So we live in Ferndale, but we drive to Bellingham all the time. Okay, so you kind of have this close nearby neighborhood city, which actually does have a lot of great amenities as well. Big fan of Ferndale, and actually it has some great tourist things. If you've never been to Ferndale, I would definitely check out Pioneer Park. It has this older village where you could see all the old cabins where the old settlers used to live in and drive in, all this stuff like that. It's really, really cool. I wish there was actually better photos here, but Pioneer Park's a fun little spot to check out, especially if you're checking out Ferndale. Again, maybe I'm just biased, but I really like it here in Ferndale. Again, you got some more lakes nearby. So if you do live in Ferndale, you do have the benefit of checking out and going to like Lake Terrell. Like this is a lake that I go to often to kayak. And if you're into hunting or fishing, you can actually hunt and fish in this area, which is pretty cool. The next best community that I really like, other than Ferndale, if you want something a little bit cheaper and close to Bellingham, is going to be the Linden area. So this is Linden. It's a very Dutch community. A great place if you are really interested in homeschooling. They have good schools, but like it's a big homeschool church community. And it's that kind of that city that like is like takes care of everything. And it's like perfect. They have the stereotype that you can't mow on Sundays. I don't think that's actually true, but they have that stereotype. But like everyone has like a perfect lawn, which is nice. I like nice lawns. I'm just now getting into having that golf course lawn. I'm not very good at it, but yeah. Anyways, we got, Linden has a bunch of windmills. It's kind of an old farmer's town. It still does a lot of farming and things like that, but it's just a really nice, beautiful place. It's definitely not for everyone. Some people hate it. And actually right here, I'll show you on the map. There's actually a restaurant I really like right here. It's called the Newsroom. It's going to be in this building right here. I will see if I can pull it up here in a second, but it's a really amazing, here it is. It's called the Newsroom. It's really cool because they have this little door on the side called the Daily Scoop, which is like this little ice cream shop right here. So you can get like hard ice cream that's locally made. I believe it's made from Edeling's Dairy, which is a local place inside of Linden, which is really good. And then they have a second front door for the actual restaurant. It's like smash burgers, things like that. They do live music on like weekends and stuff. I'm not a fan of that, but they do that if you do like that stuff. And then it has like this old newspaper feel to it, or like, yeah, newspaper-ish type of feel. In fact, now I want to know. Now I want to actually show some pictures of it, but let's see. Here it is. The Newsroom Pub pulled up here. Let's see. Really good food you can see right there. Great fries. Love the fries. They got an outdoor area. Again, it kind of has that old newspaper feel to it, the old printing press, things like that. Actually, I actually don't know if that's a printing press. I'm just saying things. But yeah, I do love this place. It's definitely one of those secret spots I don't think a lot of people know about that I would definitely recommend going checking out, whether you're just visiting Bellingham or Linden. Obviously, I don't know if I'd go out of my way if you're just visiting Bellingham, but if you're in the area inside of Linden and you need a great place to eat, I would definitely recommend that as well. Linden also has a ton of like bakeries and great walkability. This street right here, Front Street is what it's called, is just, it has a lot of walkability. Okay, like you could just walk everywhere. Obviously there's bakeries, baked goods. It's just a really cute place, especially if you're visiting for the day and just need something to do. Go walk Front Street. Don't worry about Main Street. Main Street's okay. Front Street is where it's at in Linden. Definitely want to check that out. And again, this is just a really great family friendly community area. I do like it a lot. And you are, again, right next to Canada. Again, you can visit White Rock, Surrey, and you have Abbotsford. Abbotsford is kind of like a commuter town to Vancouver, right? Which is pretty cool. And then, of course, there's a couple other small towns that you could check out. Linden and Ferndale definitely my two favorites if you're looking for something more affordable than Bellingham. Again, these cities are kind of small. They're in like that $11,000 to $15,000 population range, so they're not massive. I will say amenity-wise, Linden's going to be a little bit more self-sustaining because it is a little bit further away. You do have the Guide Meridian corridor right here, which you can get down pretty fast. But Linden is going to be a little bit more self-sustaining than Ferndale, whereas Ferndale does have a lot of the amenities and things like that. But really, it's more of a commuter town. It's a Bellingham more than anything. Going north, you do have like Blaine, which is a nice city. It's actually really up and coming right now. Again, it's going to be right on the water. It is a border town, so you got to be aware of that. So you are dealing with border stuff. The traffic and stuff in Blaine, I don't feel like it's that bad, just from my own personal experience, and I've obviously been there a ton. You also see we got Semiahmoo on a spit here. It's a big resort that we have here. Looks like it connected at one point, probably did, but now we got this big bay area. This Semiahmoo area, so we obviously have all of this right here. We're not going to talk about this area, but this area right here, there's going to be a lot of like luxury homes, things like that, especially along this spit. Actually, nothing right here, but towards Semiahmoo, there's also some more luxury homes, and then deep in this area, the Semiahmoo Golf Club and Country Club, again, have a lot more higher end homes. We're talking $1 million, $2 million, $3 million plus. A lot of these are golf club communities, not all of them. And then of course we have some that are on the water as well, which is really, really nice. Some of these homes can even go, I think the most expensive one we have is $14 million. And then we have Birch Bay just to the south of it. It's actually got absorbed, kind of like Fairhaven, into Blaine. So Birch Bay and Blaine. Birch Bay was its own city. Now it kind of falls under the domain of Blaine. It's also a really cute little spot. They got a bunch of restaurants and more affordable living. It's actually a relatively affordable place. There are some expensive HOAs like right in here. They do have quite a few mobile home parks. These are like the vacation mobile home parks where you can only live there like 120 days out of the year. So if you see like really, really cheap places like under 200,000, maybe even under 300,000, they're usually gonna be like those restrictions. So if you see anything in Birch Bay, again, under 300,000, it's probably gonna be one of those like, hey, you can only live here 120 days out of the year. And it's gonna be some single wide that you gotta pay cash for, right? But there are a lot of homes on the water right here. So we do have this road right here, and you'll see a lot of homes and people living right on the water, which is really, really cool. And then of course, there's just a ton of condos. So if you want something more affordable, you can get a condo for $300,000 and $20,000 right here on the water with a ton of amenities, which is pretty cool. So if you're looking for affordability, Birch Bay is a great spot. I do like it a lot. And then of course they do have some higher end luxury stuff as well. So it's kind of that mix is what I've noticed. When it comes to the more medium stuff, medium house price stuff, you're going to see that more out here in the county areas when it comes to Birch Bay. Whereas you're going to have your luxury stuff here and you're going to have some more higher end stuff here, and then you'll have some affordable stuff on the water, which is kind of ironic. Obviously, of course, there's going to be some occasional luxury properties right here on the water, but a lot of it's actually relatively affordable for waterfront property. It is a little bit older, but you know, it is what it is. Otherwise, all this stuff is just county, right? So we have our Linden right here in the corner. We have Ferndale that we've been talking about, and then we have just a lot of county. So if you want acreage, so if that's important to you, if you're moving here or buying here and you want like 5 acres, 10 acres, things like that, there's a lot of it. There is a lot of it all around, and you got a ton of options. Now, obviously, we talked about Bellingham, Washington, and kind of what's to the north of it. A lot, actually. We also have Mount Vernon and Burlington to the south. I don't like talking about these as much. I don't know. This just feels like farmland and like car dealerships. And it's actually, even though it seems like it's right next to Bellingham, and it kind of is, this is separated by a big mountain range. Okay, so like it's kind of weird. Like you kind of have like this little pocket right here. You can kind of see it on Google Maps right here. But this mountain range kind of right here makes this little pocket right here inside of Whatcom County, which is where Bellingham is located. So yeah, while you can go to Burlington and Mount Vernon, that's totally fine, which is in Skagit County. It is different. It does have that different feel, and it is there. Obviously, there's a bunch of islands everywhere. There's ferries that you can take to all of them, which is pretty cool. But definitely Bellingham is going to be where it's at, okay? Now, again, remember, if you are thinking about a move, whether you're moving to Bellingham or the surrounding area, or you're looking to sell a house in Bellingham, or just move inside of Bellingham. Whether you're moving to Bellingham or you're moving in Bellingham, go ahead and reach out to me and my team. Links down in the description. We would love to schedule a free home goals consultation with you to discuss your home goals, figure out what it is you want to do, and come up with a full plan to help you get there without you getting ripped off. But if you want to learn more about Bellingham, then you're going to want to check out this video right here. Otherwise, my name's Tommy Mutchler, and I will see you in the next one.